Hey, welcome to Sweet Game. This is your look at video game marketing. I am your host, Phil. Today we're going to be looking at Forbidden Solitaire, the announcement trailer. This is more of a teaser. It's 39 to 40 seconds long, so pretty short. I saw it about a week ago, probably like 6 days ago. I think I saw it a day after it was released. I think it was released like a week as of today, as I'm recording this. And I saw like a day later, a little bit afterwards, and then I saw it again a little bit after that, and it had they had like followed up with it. I followed the guy, and they had followed up with like saying that they had got 9,000 wish lists just off of 48 hours of having announced it, and I wasn't surprised really because I think this teaser is like an excellent look at storytelling and marketing your game in like a very effective way. If you've ever roamed around the subreddit of game dev, there's a lot of people asking for feedback on their teaser or their trailer. I think a lot of the feedback can just be boiled down to better storytelling, there being a narrative and a point of view. It's really important. A lot of the time it's just clips highlighting like stuff that the dev finds cool or something graphically interesting. And while that's great, it's not enough to really to carry, the ball forward when it comes to selling your game and getting people interested. And I think Forbidden Solitaire has done that. And really, I want to start off by like showing it. So I'm going to show a clip of like show the whole thing. It's only, 40 seconds long. I'll have a link in the description to the actual teaser on the YouTube channel that they have. I think it's Night Signal Entertainment. But afterwards, I'm going to kind of talk about it and break down why I think it's such a great teaser and why they probably got 9,000 wish lists from it over like 48 hours. I'm pretty sure it was 48 hours and 9,000 wish lists. So anyways, let's go ahead and take a look at that.
From the creators of Ancient Enemy and Home Safety Hotline,
gathered in protest of a controversial new video game,
comes a state-of-the-art
Another strange death was reported.
CD-ROM experience.
No reason for it to be this violent. It's f***ing solitaire.
Forbidden Solitaire.
Okay, that was Forbidden Solitaire, the announcement trailer / teaser. I don't know really what the difference is between trailer and teaser. I always just assume it's the length of it. So I'm going to just call it a teaser at this point. After watching that, if you're not great at marketing your own game, if you have trouble like telling people what you're trying to tell them about your game or like conveying what's important about your game and what's exciting about your game, I encourage you to look at teasers and trailers like this, watch it, and see if you get some feelings that come up. I know it's like, well, why would you have feelings? But we're irrational creatures. Humans are irrational, and we buy things often based on feelings, based on tribalism, based on who we are or think we are or want to be, and who we want to be a part of, like what group you want to be a part of. So when I see this, I'm a fan of horror, and I watched it, and so I got excited about it because it has this like creepiness, and so I get this feeling of like creepiness, intrigue, interest, mystery, wondering what it's about. There's some violence. It's called Forbidden. There's some picketing in there. So is it forbidden? There's some playfulness with like what seems like found footage, which again, hallmark to horror. And there's images of the game, and those images are grimy and kind of dirty looking, but also retro. So there's nostalgia going on. I'm on the older side. I'm like 41. So I've got some nostalgia going on. I remember walking around Best Buy and seeing big box CD-ROM games, and this is very much like that. So you've got this nostalgia factor going on. And so then I'm also thinking of like analog horror, because it's horror, nostalgia, analog horror. As long as, and this isn't directly analog horror because it's digital, but it has that vibe to it. It has that nostalgic retro vibe to it. Creepypastas, I think of creepypastas. So I get these feelings of like creepiness and mystery and intrigue and interest and violence and forbiddenness, and this is taboo. So there's those feelings. And then I've got these vibes of like horror, analog horror, vaporwave even. Some of the colors are vaporwave-ish, nostalgia, 90s, CD-ROMs, found footage. What else? I made some notes when I was watching this. Vaporwave version, creepypasta. Yeah, so it's so you've got these like two buckets of like feelings that you've evoked with the trailer or having seeing the trailer or teaser, and the vibes that are kind of incorporated in the trailer. And these are just like, first things that kind of are initially easy to pick out. And so that's what's coming across in this Forbidden Solitaire. And then when you break it down, take a little closer look at it, you can break it down by seconds. So like the first 5 seconds you have from the creators of Ancient Enemy and Home Safety Hotline. I don't know either of those games. I've never played them. I don't know if I will, but this does a couple things. This says, hey, we've made games before. We know what we're doing. Here's another game for you. And so there's a sense of safety and like, oh, it's not just some person putting something out there. This has a production to it. And you've got this really nice Vincent Price-ish voiceover. And so there's some production to it there. And you're like, oh, production to it. These guys have made stuff before. I'm not like jumping into something that's going to take like years to finish or might be crappy at the end. I mean, it may be crappy, but the odds of it being that way diminish, with more people making more games. And you got these great graphics going on at the beginning. It also kind of ties into what you see in movies of like from the producer of Blank and Blake, from the writer of Blank and Blake. And you see this across all genres in movies, but I think often you hear it or you see it in horror movies, which again anchors this game into the horror genre very clearly. So right off the bat, within like a few seconds, you kind of know what this is about. It's horror specific. It's made by people who have made games before. They take care in their product. There's some production to this teaser. It's not just a bunch of clips. And you know who it's for. It's like, it's for people who love this kind of horror, this kind of nostalgia, this weirdness. And so that's your demographic. That's your horror vibe. If you were to write out the general persona of somebody, it'd be like Martha listens to goth, sometimes heavy metal, wears a lot of black, has a cat, plays games, streams, reads a lot of creepypasta on subreddits. That's kind of like the general person you've built it for. There's usually multiple, like 3 marketing personas you want to build before you start like pushing out for somebody or like trying to target somebody. I get an idea of who you're making something for or selling to, but that's just kind of like off the cuff persona I would build just based on these first few seconds. After that, seconds 6 through 9, so the next 3 seconds, you've got a news clip interrupting it with a protest, and it's a controversial video game. There's picketing, and this harkens back. This gives me the found footage feel. A news clip, obviously manufactured, but it's manufactured it's manufactured to look real and coming from some old taped news segment. So it's production, and it's kind of teasing you a little bit more. It's controversial. What's so controversial about this? Oh, it's controversial. It's ties back into the title, Forbidden Solitaire. There's something taboo about it. Even if you scoff at that and it's like, well, I'll just get something if I like it. Who cares if it's controversial or not? We tend to just gravitate towards that. There's a reason doom scrolling is so popular. There's a reason, rage beats sex now when it comes to selling stuff. Arguments are going to like kick off in social media more than like good vibes. It's just how it is. So just like, oh, controversy, like, so there's something in your brain that goes, oh, I want to stick around a little bit to check this out some more. It comes the state-of-the-art CD-ROM. That's very short. That's like a second or two. That gets cut in mid-sentence to a jump scare. I would call it a jump scare. There's no sound of like doom doom or anything, but you definitely get some dude who's dead. His eyes are bleeding. Mysterious death. First look at real gore in here, so it's going to be gory, and that's going to turn some people off. But the people who love gore. They're going to get excited for it. And again, it's another news clip, found footage vibes, playing with the realism of something. Like, I remember when I was younger, Blair Witch had just come out, and there was this excitement about it and how it was marketed as like, we didn't, the internet was so new. We were like, oh, maybe this is real. This is real. Some people didn't believe it, but some people did really believe it. And then some people just chose to believe it because it was fun to do and add it to the cinema experience. I feel like that's the same here. You see it across in like Thin Man stuff, like what SCP, Necronomicon, I think it's called Necronomicon, Evil Dead, H.P. Lovecraft, that kind of stuff, where you play with the sense of reality. Found footage does the same thing. There's something very fun about that for a lot of people. It cuts back after that to the CD-ROM announcements, state-of-the-art CD-ROM experience, like never before. Again, it's like, okay, this is like over-the-top, old-school CD-ROM, the big box CDs, very nostalgic for people my age and older, and probably interesting for people who just like older nostalgic stuff. There's always somebody who's interested in retro anything. So the younger people are, could be gravitated to it. Maybe not, or maybe that'll just go by them. You don't know, but it adds to this world building that's happening just in these very few short seconds. It adds to the world building and the storytelling that's happening with this game. 15 to 19 seconds, picket signs. There's an interview. No reason for it to be this violent. It's effing solitaire. And I really loved this part. It's like right in the middle. It's 39 seconds, and we get 15 to 19 seconds here within that 39 seconds. So pretty much straight in the middle of this teaser. It's effing solitaire. So what it does here is saying, again, plays into the forbidden, found footage, horror. It's violent. And then you get what it is. It's solitaire. Like you know the name because you probably read it at the bottom of the YouTube video before you clicked play. But, if you're just watching it, you don't know anything about this game. If you're just watching it, there's no gameplay yet. There's no announcement yet. So this is your first inkling of like what it is. And it's solitaire. It should just be normal, plain. And the great thing is that most people know what solitaire is, and they know how to play solitaire, and they've played it before on something, probably their work desk or whatever, because that's usually the only game you have, unless you're doing Cookie Clicker, which I do in the browser. And then, and so you've got like a hook there, an explanation, and a mystery. So you've got like a hook of it's violent. It's just solitaire, but it's violent. You got a hook. the explanation, it's solitaire. It's card-based game. You should be able to understand it, plain and simple. The mystery, why is it so violent? So you've got like 3 things going on just with that sentence. It's really brilliant, I think. Then you've got a splash of game clips for about 9 seconds. So it takes up a big bulk of this, almost like a quarter of this whole announcement. And again, like I said, the game clips are like grimy, dirty, retro, nostalgic. It matches the vibe of the rest of the teaser, which is important. You want to thematically match, like if you're going to have graphics and like videos cut in there, you want to match it all together. It would be weird if like the picketing was like HD solid modern clothing. It would be weird if the ratio was 16:9 instead of the 4:3. It would be weird if the beginning graphics didn't have that nostalgic vaporwave to it. And then have all that, and then you cut to these grimy PC CD-ROM throwback retro graphics of Solitaire, and some like gory like hand on gem stuff or gems on hand stuff, and weird faces and monsters or ghosts or whatever coming in and saying something. There's some dialogue in there. It'd be very strange if it didn't match thematically. So it's something to keep in mind when you're making a teaser or trailer. It's great to go off course, but there should be a reason if you're not going to match things up. There should be a reason if somebody is coming in here and saying like we're all modern and stuff, and then you present a throwback style game. There should be a reason, and you have to have I think a fairly good reason for doing that. So this is all great. It's again building, it's world building, it's telling a story of what this is. It's a horror game. It's solitaire. It's violent. It's forbidden. It's scary to some people. And okay, like the games, the game clips, you got some dialogue, like I said. So I'm interested because I'm like, is there a story to this? Is there more to it? I mean, this is already great world building. Is there more? If I'm playing the game, am I going to be like, is it going to give me like the story of Jumanji, where if I'm playing it, I die or something like that? Or is there going to be a play on the reality of it? Like, if I play this game, something's going to happen, whatever, like The Ring or what have you. The items are weird. The gameplay looks, you got card games, but then there's so many more other elements to it. So looks like there's a lot for people to do other than just play solitaire. Then it's 31 to 38 seconds. So you get Forbidden Solitaire, you get the logo, you get the guy on there. The whole thing looks like traditional box art, like the end of it looks like a video game screen. It looks like box art. It looks like a commercial you would see on late night TV in the 90s. Really great stuff. And most importantly, it had a call to action at the bottom, like the bottom third. It had, I think, add to your wish list, which is very important. I think a lot of people forget to have add to your wish list at the bottom of your teaser or your trailers or somewhere. And it should be fairly prominent. It's the equivalent of ending a YouTube video and saying subscribe and like. Yes, it's kind of lame and I forget to do it, but it's important to do, because if you're a consumer, if you're a viewer, like I said, we're basic creatures, give us a little nudge to go do something. And sometimes we'll watch it and be like, I wonder if that's out yet, or I wonder, or not even think about it. But if you say add to wish list, then my brain goes, oh, they've got it on Steam or something, so I can go ahead and wish list it. And then I'll be reminded later to buy it, which will be great for me. It helps me out. You're really helping out the consumer wish list it and make a possible purchase down the line, instead of having to remember that it's coming out later, or maybe it is later and going to go check and doing all this other stuff. And it's not a whole lot of other stuff. Like you can just Google Forbidden Solitaire, or like go on Steam and look for it. But the more you can feed a customer, potential gamer, player of your game, the better. So if you are ready to have people wishlist your stuff, put it on your teaser, put it on your trailer, have them wishlist it, add the link in the description, put it in a link tree or in your bio, put it everywhere, and just ask. Just say, hey, wishlist it. Okay, or just tell them wishlist it. Just get them going. Have that call to action. It's important. So you have that, and then the last couple seconds are just a glitch in a black screen, which seem like a waste. Why would you have that? But it's a really nice bookend to all this world building and storytelling of this glitch, like a old school TV, CRTV, static, and then just black. It feels nefarious. I mean, it's very cliche to do, of like static and then end and then just black. But there's a reason that it works in horror and reason why people use it. It also adds to the idea that this was like taped somewhere and somebody threw it on. So it's like adds to the fact that it's possibly found footage. So again, adds to this idea of playing with reality, world building. Is there something going on with this game? Is it coming to take over your life? Is it, it's forbidden, I shouldn't be playing it, and blah, blah, blah. It just adds to everything that's been building up in this game. And every piece is kind of adding to that story of like I said, this game is a horror game. It's solitaire. It's a card game. You know it, but there's a twist. You're not going to believe it. It's violent. It's scary. People are scared of it. It's forbidden. It's literally named Forbidden Solitaire. People are protesting it before it's even out. It's crazy. And again, all of this we know is manufactured. It's not real. There's not people picketing this game out of the blue. This is not like real found footage of like somebody finding this old game from the 90s and releasing it now. It's all manufactured, but it adds its playfulness. It adds to the storytelling. It adds to the experience. It gives people something to play with. A lot of the reasons that I think franchises really kick off is because people can like make fan theories about it, can make fan art about it, can just get excited about it, can go talk to people about it, can tell stories about it, can add to the stories. And even if they don't do it, like in a large scale, having the platform to possibly do it, I think, is really important. Or to just like do it by yourself and be like thinking about it, and be like, oh, this is really cool. I wonder what this is like, and what is this world like? What is this doing? And so you start getting hyped about it. The customer, the viewer, starts getting hyped about it. It's hard to do, but it's important to try to do. And not every game, every product is going to have that possibility of doing it. It's hit or miss. You never know what's really going to hit. But you can add to it in that way. You can design a better looking character. You can, design a teaser. You can tell a more compelling story about your game. These are all things you can add to get people hyped about your game and get them in there. And so, having said all that, I think Forbidden Solitaire, the announcement trailer, the teaser, really hits the mark when it comes to telling a story. And you like watching it, like you don't know the gameplay, you don't know much about it. You don't have to give everything away to tell your story. You can tease it, but you can tell people what it is, who it's for, the demographic, who wants it, and then you cut away some of the people who are just not going to be interested, which sounds horrible, but you think of the population of the US and the world. So even if you get like a small percentage of that, you're going to do well. So you really want to like try to hone in on your demographic, and this does it really well. So again, if I can do anything, I encourage you to watch other teasers, other trailers, and really break down what they're trying to do. Think about the feelings it gives you and doesn't give you. Think about the themes, think about the vibes, and then how is it trying to tell a story and how you can implement that into your own teaser and trailer. I'm going to be doing more of these. This was just the first one that I've seen recently. And I got really excited about it because, like I said, I'm a horror fan, and also I thought it did a really amazing job. And you can tell by the success of the 9,000 wish lists in 48 hours. So if you want to hear more of that, please subscribe, hit the like button. See, got to have that call to action. This has been Sweet Game. I have been your host, Phil, and I hope you guys have a great day and go out there and make some really amazing games or play some. Thanks.